Good Friday morning, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allivo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Under cloudy skies, I've got 46 degrees on the barn thermometer. A quick look at the radar shows that rain should be moving into the area in the next hour or so and already falling in many parts of the Buckeye State. Well, I just returned yesterday afternoon from the Farm Credit Council fly-in out in Washington, D.C., where I was joined by over 800 farmers and members of the Farm Credit System from all across the country and Puerto Rico. This week, we had the opportunity to meet with our legislators and their staff to thank them for their service and stress a need for a new farm bill and some other key pieces of agricultural legislation. At the D.C. airport on the way back, I happened to run into Dwayne Statler, a farmer from Macomb, Ohio, also the current president of the National Pork Producers Council. Dwayne was also in Washington this week, meeting with legislators on behalf of the U.S. pork industry. So one thing's for certain, Ohio farmers can rest assured they're being represented well in the nation's capital and their voices are being heard. This quick programming note, tune in next Wednesday, the 12th, as we'll have our monthly update with Dale and Farm Credit Mid-America. Whether it's kettle corn at a county fair or festival, caramel corn in the fall, or just a good old bag of popcorn with butter and salt, all Americans love their popcorn. Today we're going to visit with New Vision Farms up in Henry County for a cab cam about popcorn harvest. Joining me today is Mark Horman with New Vision Farms. Mark, we're out running popcorn today. I guess talk a little about, if you can, in generalities, the differences between popcorn and field corn.
Well, it's same crop as corn. Only the difference is it's a non-GMO hybrid. You don't have any BT version, no Roundup Ready, no bug control as far as above ground. So, when you get to harvestability, it's basically 1990 field corn. The stalk strength has come a long way over the years, but it's basically the same as field corn, old school.
That's a good way to look at it, is take it back a couple decades from the agronomic standpoint. When it comes to the mechanics of planting it, fertility, harvest, all the same equipment with regular field corn, or is there any differences?
We're using the same equipment as we do field corn. It's nice to have a rotor for grain quality on a combine, hydraulic deck plates. Just this new modern equipment is really nice for growing popcorn.
And to see the video and hear the full interview with Mark, check out our popcorn cab cam at ohioagnet.com. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Well, let's get a check on your Friday weather forecast brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Online at seedconsultants.com.
We've got some moisture working through the state of Ohio today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at the forecast update. Frontal boundary sweeping through the state today. Moisture not all that impressive. A few hundredths of an inch to half an inch generally. Maybe one or two of you get 3/4 of an inch, but I just think it's pretty doggone tough here today. But clouds are going to be around through most of the day. We don't clear out until we get into the evening and overnight in most areas. Northwest Ohio may start just a little bit sooner. But we clear out overnight, and most of your Saturday is going to be partly sunny, a little bit cooler than today because, again, we have a frontal boundary moving through today, so cooler temperatures and behind it. Secondary system, and this is the one that really counts, it tries to drag through overnight Saturday night through Sunday afternoon. This low digs into central Indiana, then lifts northeast across the northern part of Ohio. I think we can see anywhere from a 1/10 to 3/4 of an inch of precipitation out of that through the day Sunday. But what's more impressive is the strong north flow that wraps around the backside to go through Sunday late afternoon, evening, overnight, and then Monday and Tuesday. These strong winds are coming right over the Great Lakes. I think we have to put in all sorts of lake effect potential here with clouds, definitely. On again, off again, scattered rain showers or sprinkles over the northern part of Ohio for Sunday night and, Monday, Tuesday during the daytime hours. And then in the overnight, wet snowflakes are possible. Is it going to be snowpocalypse? Absolutely not. There have been some weatherists on social media that have been trying to talk that up for weeks now. Give it a break, guys. But yes, there's going to be some lake effect that gets in here. Snowflakes are going to fly at least in the overnight hours. The other thing we have to talk about, wind chills, all right? Temperatures not doing much better than the 30s for Monday and Tuesday. With 20-mile-an-hour winds, it's going to feel like it's in the teens pretty doggone easily. As fast as the cold air comes in, warm air comes back. By Wednesday, we're starting to warm significantly across the region, and we are much warmer for the rest of the week into the weekend, where we could see some maybe scattered rain showers on Sunday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
When you're buying seed, there's more to a transaction than money. You're exchanging time and trust, hoping each decision adds up at harvest. Seed consultant sales professionals don't take that lightly. With products made to excel in the Eastern Corn Belt and agronomic knowledge that stands up to the test, we're all about the same things you are: reliability and results. Buy into a better seed experience. Visit seedconsultants.com to view our corn and soybean lineup.
Joining me today is Julia Brown. And Julia, we want to talk about an exciting new program coming up called the Ohio Soybean Immersion Experience. Tell us a little bit more. What is it and where did the idea come from?
The Immersion Experience, it really was inspired by the United Soybean Board's See for Yourself tour, where they take farmers and kind of take them around the country and even internationally to show them what the soybean checkoff is doing. And we decided to take that and sort of shrink it down and Ohio-fy it, we'll say. And really we want to bring farmers in to see what the checkoff is doing at every stage of the value chain to, build new demand and create new opportunities for farmers.
So when we take a look at the program, obviously a lot of things that go on in the state of Ohio that you could tap into. As you've tried to draw that down into a functional program, what are some of the highlights folks that would enroll would be able to experience?
Sure. So the program actually will take place over 3 phases. The first phase will really focus on just sort of establishing what the checkoff is, what we do. The second phase is actually a tour around the state of Ohio to different, like I mentioned, different parts of the value chain. So, for example, we are going to be visiting the new Louis Dreyfus facility up in Upper Sandusky. We're going to be visiting Marzetti down here in Central Ohio in Westerville and all of their, salad dressings and kind of food production that they do and how they use soybean products and how we work with them. And then we also have another couple of stops scheduled for Benchmark Biodiesel here in Columbus, Bluegrass Farms down in Jeffersonville that do a lot of food grade production and selling, and then also Consolidated Grain and Barge down in Cincinnati, so you can get to see some of the logistics that go on down on the river. So that's kind of our tour around the state, and then we're actually partnering with the Kansas Soybean Organization. We are bringing both of our groups together. They have a very similar program in their state, so we're going to be bringing both of our groups of farmers together in Indianapolis next summer for the United Soybean Board's meeting in July, and we'll get to see some of what the national checkoff is doing with soybean checkoff dollars, and also bring folks together so that our farmers can meet with farmers from Kansas and kind of talk about their different operations and, just get to know folks from a different part of the country.
Sure, outstanding. So give us a timeline. When does everything kick off, and how do folks apply or get involved if they're interested?
Yeah, so our applications are going to be open on November 3rd. Okay. Those are going to be open through December 17th. It's a pretty simple application process. It's all available on our website, soyohio.org/OSIE. That'll take you right to the webpage. You can learn a little bit more, see a little bit more of the agenda, and go ahead and apply there. And we'll get back in touch with you soon because our first phase is going to kick off in January. So it's a little bit of a tight turnaround, but we're really excited to bring folks in. We have about 10 slots available for folks to come and join us.
And target audience for this program?
Yeah, so it's open to all farmers. I think it's important for all farmers to know what we're doing with their checkoff dollars, but we're really targeting younger farmers, as they start to get into the business so they can have a better understanding of how their beans move throughout the system and how their checkoff supports them and all of that. So again, open to all farmers, but we're really hoping to get some younger farmers to come with us and learn a little bit more about their checkoff.
Sounds like an exciting opportunity. I'm excited to see how it moves forward and learn more with the process. Again, talking today with Julia Brown. She's with the Ohio Soybean Council, talking about the upcoming Ohio Soybean Immersion Experience. Julia, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Taking a look at your livestock news, when selecting heifers to keep as replacements in the herd, there are several factors you should keep in mind, according to university experts. Now, with over 50 million heifers and cows going to slaughter in the past 3 years and 2025 replacement heifer numbers down 3%, they say regrowth is not starting yet. But there are questions as a producer you should ask yourself. Those include, can you afford to buy replacement heifers? Can you afford not to sell heifers? Can you feed those heifers out? Can you breed the heifers? Can you graze them on grass? And what's the best way to expand? Is it bred heifers? Is it bred cows? Or replacement heifers? Now, Oklahoma State University Extension beef specialist Parker Henley said it's important to make sure that replacement heifers fit the production environment. They breed early, they calve unassisted, and remain productive for years to contribute to the herd's long-term profitability. Now, Henley said heifers that reach puberty early are more likely to conceive during the first breeding season and calve by 24 months of age, and these are the heifers that will also rebreed faster. Heifers must grow to reach target weights and reproductive readiness, weighing approximately 65% of their projected mature weight at the start of the breeding season, and a heifer expected to mature at 1,400 pounds should weigh around 910 pounds at breeding, they say. Reproductive tract scoring is a valuable tool in assessing reproductive maturity. Herd fertility and longevity increase with pregnancy rates being higher at the first service and within a 60-day breeding season. Fertility has a low heritability, as does milking ability, but looking at the appropriate expected progeny differences, or those EPDs, for these traits help get the heifers and set the goals. Phenotype evaluation remains a cornerstone of replacement heifer selection, said Henley. He suggested avoiding extremes in size to help ensure longevity. Other traits to look for are adequate rib shape, depth of body, and muscling to help maintain a good body condition score. Structural soundness, hoof integrity, and a calm disposition are also important. Stay tuned. We'll be back to take a look at your markets after this. Whether you're in the fields or on the farm, creating a safer work environment has never been easier. BWC's safety consulting services are included with your policy premiums and offer training and education for everyone in your farming operation. It's always the right time to make safety a priority. Visit bwc.ohio.gov or call 1-800-644-6292. The Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation, here to help you work safely.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
It's time now for today's market analysis, brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Well, taking a look back yesterday, both financial and agricultural markets faced widespread selling pressure on Thursday, with several moving parts to point to a source of general nervousness across the trade. First, row crop futures had become very overbought in the short term from a technical perspective. Secondly, futures traders tend to want answers right now rather than later, and with the government shutdown, it's very difficult to gauge if China has been buying U.S. soybeans and to what degree, and the rapidly growing expense of U.S. soybeans on an FOB port basis may have at last caught up with the futures markets on Thursday. In other news, Wednesday's hearing by the Supreme Court regarding the legality of the Trump administration's sweeping tariffs has added a layer of volatility to the market, although a decision is still pending regarding that. Turning now to the Chicago Board of Trade, looking specifically at yesterday's close and what the overnights are doing, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Well, December corn futures fell 6.5 cents on Thursday at 428 3/4. March futures were down 6.5 cents as well. Those closed at $4.43. In soybeans, January soybean futures fell 26 3/4 cents on Thursday, closing at 11.07 and March futures were down 24.5 cents at $11.17 1/2. In the wheat markets, December KC wheat futures closed at $5.22 1/4 on Thursday. They were down 17 3/4 cents. March futures were down 16.5 cents at $5.37. Turning now to the overnight markets, they have turned around just slightly to the positive side, with December corn up 0.5 penny at $4.29 1/4 and March corn up 0.5 penny at $4.43 1/2. May corn for 26 is up 1/4 penny at $4.51 3/4. Now November soybeans are up 1.5 pennies at $10.93 1/4, and January beans are up 5.5 cents at $11.13, with March soybeans trading a nickel higher at $11.22 1/2. Wheat for December up 1.25 pennies at $5.36 3/4, but July and September wheat both unchanged. July wheat at $5.69 and September wheat at $5.80 3/4. In the livestock markets, we had a down day at the close with December live cattle down $1.75 at $218.77 1/2, and February cattle closing down $1.37 1/2 at $216.75. December lean hogs closed the day down $1.62 1/2 at $78.97 1/2, and February hogs were down $1.15, those closing at $79.82 1/2. Feeder cattle for January down $4.37 1/2 at $315.60, and March feeders down $4.67 1/2 at $311 even. Thanks for joining us. This is the Ohio AgNet.